Hey guys, this is going to be a review on Revit. It's just going to be quick shortcuts and commands that you guys already should know or we have already discussed. So first thing I need you to understand is properties and project browser. So if you go under manage.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just doing a quick review. So if you click on manage. So if you click on manage. You can look up project information, and this is where all your sheet files or the latest files are. The other way to see it is you can go under view and click on user interface, and if your project browser is turned off or your properties turned off, you can turn it on here. Okay, so let's say if this exit out in the exam and you're like, oh my god, I don't know where it is, you can click on view, user interface, and turn on project browser and come in here and open up properties. Okay, number two, under architectural, that's where you're gonna find all your drawings. So guys, anytime you have to draw a new element, like a floor, a ceiling, anytime you have to draw something from scratch, you're gonna find everything here in the drawings panel, which is the architectural panel. Now when it comes to details, understand, go under annotate, and you will go under components and click on detail components, and you can draw everything from here when it comes to details. Okay, and you can actually put detail components even in your floor plan view, and sometimes it will ask you to create a view, and you're going to simply create a drafting view if you want to draw from scratch. And you can come in here and create a drafting view, name it whatever scale it is. Scale wouldn't matter. It's going to be multiple elements put together, and that's what they're going to ask for measurement for, right?
Is the retake going to be the same as the first test?
What happened?
So whenever you retake it, it could be the same as the first test?
Yes, rearrange questions.
Can we get our grade right away?
Yes, the moment you click submit, it'll give you back a grade, and the district gets your grade at the same time.
So 47.
Yeah, and you just have to pass one of the two attempts, and you could claim back the $40 back. Okay? If you
What? I have to pass the test to get $40 back?
You can get your money back if you pass the test.
2 attempts. The second attempt is on May, right?
Second attempt is in May.
I thought the second attempt was like the week after.
You need technically, you can retake it within 5 to 10 days. You cannot take it within 48 hours because you'll mess up the system, because it will report both of the exam went at the same time and it'll be reported as cheating. So you'll wait 48 hours and you can retest right after.
It's the same thing.
But yes, it is the same thing. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the test. We're gonna see if we can break it down further. Any topography questions or something like that, we can discuss at that point.
Do they tell you which questions you got wrong?
No. Geometrics, you won't be taking a test on geometrics. You'll be taking it on Certiport. Okay. Next thing I want you to understand is if you're creating floor that are massing floors or mass floors, this is what it's talking about. Massing floors is kind of like SketchUp. This portion, massing in site, is like SketchUp. Now, this was going to be covered in chapter 14 and 15. We never got there because I figured if we took all the way to chapter 15, we wouldn't have never done geometrics. So, just to compensate for that, something happened in the middle. Some issues with me because I didn't pay attention in class. Some issues with you guys. There's a smoke alarm right there, right above you, right above the ceiling, and there's a smoke alarm there.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so topo surface That's what, whenever you're dealing with topo surface, it's gonna ask you to put, whenever you're dealing with topo surface, you're gonna be asked to place points at certain heights. So there might be a square drawn here, and you're gonna be placing a point at a specific elevation, and so on and so forth. And if you get those points, it'll ask you, what is the midpoint? And you simply click, and it'll tell you exactly what that point is. Does that make sense? You're just adding the slope. Now, you're gonna place point on surface, or you're gonna create. Thank you. That's actually very helpful. Thank you. So you're gonna either create points, or you're gonna draw out the surface. Either way, it's gonna give you something to start with. You're not just gonna be left in the dark. Okay? The other questions I've seen are simply measure, and that's gonna be under annotate dimensions. All your dimension commands are here. Sometimes you will be asked to reveal a hidden object, right? And that's gonna be here with the light bulb. Everything in that view will be able to be seen when you click on the light bulb. If anything is hidden, let's get out of there. If anything is grayed out, that means you're under a command. It's asking you to draw a floor, asking you to draw a roof. Simply go under modify and X out so you can select something. Now, if I want to hide something, I can click on the element, right click, and then I can go under hide and view element. You can hide the entire category. You can select all the things at the same time. So let me just go ahead and draw a wall. Oops, sorry.
Really?
Go to architectural and draw a wall.
Yeah, I knew it was like that.
And I'm gonna go ahead and place a window in here, just for reference. Now if I select everything, like so, I can click on filter and it'll tell me that there's 2 walls, 1 window. So if it asks you how many doors there are, that's how you're gonna do it. If it asks you to tag a window, you can simply click on here, tag element, or you can come in here, right click. Actually, simply click on this and go to architectural tag.
Oh, cálmate, güey. Cálmate, güey.
Wait.
No mames, güey.
Shh. It's under annotate. Yeah, annotate tag. Tag by category, and you can tag. Okay, annotate tag. If it asks you to draw levels, it's under architectural tab. No, it's under view. It's under view. It's under view, and it's only can be activated once you're in elevation view. When you're in elevation view, you can create. There's 2 ways to create elevations. One is simply by copying these, right? You can CO and copy it up. The other ways to do it is, I swear it was under architectural datum levels. And you draw. Right? Every file that you have, you could refresh. You'll have a refresh icon. So let's say you modified that file to get the answer and you X'd out and saved it. You can click on refresh. It'll refresh all the files. Do not save files during the exam. Does that make sense? Now, anyone has questions? No? Obviously.
What did we do when I was gone?
Oh, today we didn't do much because a lot of people were out for testing. I'm gonna go ahead and put a wall around this whole thing so we can deal with this. Anytime you draw a rail, roof, or anything, you will end up having so let's say if I want to draw a roof. The first thing I want you to realize is there's multiple levels, right? It will ask you to go to the highest level to draw a roof. But if you try to draw a roof here, it will say, do you want to, you have created the roof on the lowest level. Would you like to move it to level 2? You want to pick the highest level, obviously. Say yes. Overhangs. All the moment you enter into any drawing tool, all your modifications are going to be either here, or you click on modify, or they're going to be here. Now, the moment you start drawing, you can draw with any of these elements, right? But understand that pick a wall and pick lines are going to be your best friends. You want to pick lines and pick walls because it's going to be the fastest way to draw. I don't want you to spend time with going, hey, I'm going to go ahead and use the offset command. I'm going to use line. And if you're doing this, where I'm going to have to go 2 feet over, then draw a line, you should be using offset. Do not spend time drawing so much. Does that make sense? If you want to get a rectangle, you're going to do pick lines. So just for demonstration, 2 feet, offset, pick walls. Did not even over, it didn't over. So I'm going to go pick lines, 2 feet. Now, I'm going to put a slope on this side and this side. When I click on non-defined slope, that's going to give me gable roof, right? That's my gable roof.
You're gay?
Gable.
You're gay. Like gay boys?
What time does the bell ring?
Now, guys, if you were to look at this, this wall is technically in here, right? It's attached to the roof. If it doesn't attach, you can simply select the wall and attach the top base. Okay? Doors, all of those are going to have a set height. All the windows, you should have it in properties. Now, it did run into a question with color scheme. That was chapter 13, where you had to do color scheme and you had to select the room. Did anyone have questions about that? Okay, so 2 ways to get there is, obviously you go through architecture, go to the floor plan. You can come into architecture and there's color scheme under here, color schemes, or you can go under properties and you can go under color scheme. You will click here. If it says by rooms, by space, by zones, simply select that. There's going to be nothing here. This file is blank, right? But it's going to have that color, whatever that's necessary, right? Majority, if not all of it, is you extracting information. You're going to spend a lot of time. Doing this. Okay, this is the file. I have to open it. Draw a stair is going to already give you the guideline. So you guys remember how we drew stairs? That was something we covered. Midpoint, you go all the way around. Stairs always starts from midpoint. You specify the width, you go all the way around. Rails, same thing, right? We might even have ramps. So these are going to become your best tools. When you click on railing, understand the difference between sketch pad and placing it on a stair or ramp. Do not mistake those two, right? Sketch pad will cover the whole basis. If it specifies an offset, specify that offset. Know which side you're offsetting to. If you want to hide something, that's like full on, quit sketching. If you want to hide something that is full on a category, you go on VG, VV, or Visibility and Graphics. You can find that under View, Visibility Graphics, or you can type in VV simply. And you can come in here, and if you have an annotation category, you can turn things off. Model categories, you can turn this off. Like if you want to turn off all windows, I'll come in here and I'll select Windows. So it'll be Model, Windows. All alphabetized, select Windows off, press Apply. Okay, you see how there's a blank here? All the windows have been turned off. Only in this view. You can turn things on and off to make your life easier. There's not going to be a lot of overlap of file. Another thing you're going to run into is be very familiar with these commands right here. Be familiar with array. Be familiar with copy, move, align, right? Yeah, so array is a very simple command. You can have an object that you can select. I'm going to select. It is. So if I select this building and I click on array, I can array linear, array radial. That's the thing I need you to understand. Every question will tell you exactly what you need to do. What it is testing, this is a user's certification. This is Autodesk Revit User Certification. It's not a professional certification. What I mean is that's another tier up. That is when you want to be a Revit trainer. No one's going to be that except me, but that's fine. You're not going to teach Revit to anyone. So when you have a Revit User Certification, all you're doing is, this is the file I'm giving you, give me the information back. That's all the exam is looking at. Can you navigate through the file? Can you open the right tabs? Can you close out of the program? Can you not? Can you like open the same file up, get a different information out? How high is this wall? What's written on that wall? Right? You guys ran into that question where what's on this wall? Simply view, elevation. Come on, there. Double click there. Oh, there's a window on that wall. That's all you're asked to do. That window has Caroline in it. That window has I'm a Revit certification written on it. That's all you're doing. You're navigating the software, right? Majority of the time, what I've heard from students is the geometrics was slightly easier than the exam. And that's what they say. The exam is slightly higher in terms of like testing. But if you are doing the questions that are asking you to connect the roof, get the volumes, get the area, get the perimeter, that's what they're looking for. Wall, roof parameters, all parameters for that wall belong on properties. Whether it's asking for surface area, whether it's asking for height, whether it's asking for square footage, volume, all of that's here in properties. You should be able to select that wall, select that window, and it should be under the properties. Some technical things you need to understand is if you take an object and manipulate it, right? That is instant parameters. That means it is only happening to that one wall. When you click on edit type, that's called type parameters. You're changing all the walls at the same time. It will sometimes ask you to add extra layers to the wall. You simply do that by, for this particular wall, I will click on edit type, go under edit structure, and I'll simply add or delete layers here. Okay? Click on preview, and this is the side. This is where you have a solid core, and I can just, let's say, let's just insert something. This is not going to be structural. This is going to be a membrane. And this membrane is going to be, we can pick category. We can just say this is an aluminum sheet. This is just for reference. And this thing is going to be, this is going to be 1/2 inch thick aluminum, which makes no sense. But let's press OK. And notice how it's being built on the exterior side. This is exterior, this is interior. Exterior, interior. And all walls build like that. Is that fair? Press OK. What just happened? Press OK. Error. Row 2 membrane layer function requires 0 thickness. Oh, membrane layer? Okay. We're just going to call this finish. Read the prompts. They're going to usually pop up here. Okay. And now when I go into my plan view, notice how the walls like this, change the detail, flip these walls, because they should be on the exterior, and then your exterior has an aluminum coating, right? To display line weights, you're simply doing that. To see the line weights of the aluminum, you have to go up in scale. So I'm gonna go up in scale, and that's what the line weights will look like, right? Pretty simple software when you get to use it. The whole idea behind you guys getting all these lectures were to go piecemeal, category by category by category, seeing floors, how to multiply elements all the way across, right? You'll also run into a question where it'll tell you to copy, and you copy this way, copy the clipboard, and then you're gonna paste onto multiple layers or multiple levels. These are all simple questions. You should be able to just navigate through it. Become very familiar with modify, annotate, and architecture. That's where all your questions are coming from. View is to create different views. Architecture is to draw something new. Modify is to take something existing and change that. Annotate is to do dimension, text, multiple leaders, multiple arrows, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Align? Yeah. So if I have, and let's say I have a wall, shortcut for wall, WA. And by the way, if you want to learn shortcuts, you go under the command, and when you hover over it, it'll put it in parentheses. WA, WN, DR. This is like for quickness, so DR, and I can like immediately pick the door I want. Hotkeys. Hotkeys. I try not to teach it because you don't require enter, and you enter into a command, and you're like, why am I not able to do anything? Why can't I do anything? And the thing is, you're inside a command. You got to go to modify, click escape to exit the command. Or sometimes you have to go to modify and exit the command if you're drawing a roof. Align. Align is very simple. All you're doing is, let's say I have a wall here, and I have something here, and it asks you to align this wall to this. You will type in AL, which is the shortcut, or you go under modify, and of course they have the same shortcuts here. Everything is 2 letters. That's the best way to remember it. MV is move. That's the only hard one. CO, OF, AL. First letters of everything. And you're gonna barely use mirror. And trim or extend. Trim works the opposite in the AutoCAD. Trim takes away the lines. In this case, trim is the walls you want to keep. Yeah, so we're gonna do that too. So align AL. I want to align this wall to that wall. So I select the wall I want to align to first. It creates a reference line. Then I select the plane and it aligns to it.
But I thought you said, okay, how about if I want the one with the building to align to the one on the left?
The one on the building to align to the left, okay? You do the exact opposite. AL, I select this line, and then I bump this. Yeah, detached target. The reason is because it's missing the roof above. It'll give you a prompt. The thing is, it's smart enough to tell you, okay, the roof's not gonna work anymore. You want me to modify that too? Okay, yeah, we'll do that. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do WA, and this is what I want to demonstrate about trim. So when I type in TR, this is the wall I wanna keep, this is the wall I wanna keep. So it makes a corner right there. So I'm gonna select that wall, select this wall, and the wall you wanna keep is what stays. In AutoCAD, it's the exact opposite. It's the wall you want to delete is what you click on. Does that make sense? You have 2 lines. I want to delete this and delete that. TR. Boom, boom. Get rid of those 2. In this one, the walls you want to keep. Sometimes you will be asked to split a wall. You can do a split a wall, specify the gap. And this is like, let's say if I want to put a door here. Let's just say we're gonna move that to 1 feet. so you can see it. And now it's two different walls. You can manipulate them differently. Sometimes they'll ask you to make this a half wall. So I want to be able to look on top of it. You just simply went from unconnected height to make it 3 feet. Now I'm looking on top of that wall. I can't really see the aluminum because that aluminum is not cut through. This wall is cut through.
Oh, like half wall, like elevation wise?
Yeah, so if I was to put an elevation marker here, view, creating a new view, elevation, looking this way, click on the arrow. This is the extent of the view, this is the depth of the view. If I don't want to see the building in the background, pull it back, double click on the arrow. That's a half wall, that's a full wall. This went all the way up to unconnected height of level 4, which is 20. Half wall, I simply selected this and I said unconnected height, 3 feet. And obviously you can do, instead of unconnected height, you get rid of this. Or you can simply, I was trying to go to level 2. So it's just gonna have the unconnected height locked. Because now it's restricted to that level, right? Again, I can create levels in this view by going to architectural, datum, levels. Anytime I want to put grids, it'll ask you to put grids. 99 times on the test, if it asks you to draw grids, do not draw grids. Why? Because it's going to ask you to then measure from grid 2 to grid 3, right? All you need to know is where were those reference lines. If you spend the time, the thing is this, sometimes the question gives you more than what you need. Or it'll ask you to do several steps, but those steps are not necessary for the answer. Read the question, literally know the file that you're going to work on, read the question immediately, then work yourself to the answer. Again, one thing I want you to understand is be very aware of this. On the test, you'll be asked hashtag, hashtag, dot, hashtag, hashtag, space, hashtag, hashtag, slash, hashtag, hashtag, hashtag. Right? Know what that is referencing, right? The answer is going to be in feet and inches. Let's say it does this, right? If it does this, then your answer is supposed to be like that, right? It's going to be very, like, if you're getting an answer that's like 203.1, that's not it. Definitely not it. Because that's it, right? We barely covered this. No, actually, we did not cover this. Chapter 15 has rooms and categories, right? So covering chapter 15, because I feel like we have the hardest time with navigation, which is like chapter 1 through 5. And then we covered this semester 7 through 12, and we just stopped, right? We just dead stopped. And everyone, I kind of lost them around 11 anyways. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to fill you in on those chapters, like topography, fill you in, right? So when it comes topography, we didn't go over how to create topography from points. It did cover how to extract information from it early on. We never drew topography though. What was I going to say? Rooms. Yeah, so if I go under levels, rooms are only created in closed spaces. So I can create a room, and rooms are X's. And when you create a room, right, you have to hover in the room and find out where this X is. When you click on that, it'll give you the square footage, it'll give the area, it'll give you that room information. Now, if you interrupt that room with any type of walls, and I know you probably faced that question before, and you hover around this X again, rooms are kind of smart. They will figure out that's the enclosed area. Like I said, I'm going through multiple questions right now, But there's questions that you should be spending 30 seconds on. You run into a stair questions where you have to draw stairs and all of that. You want to skip it, you want to come to it at the end, however you want to deal with it. But understand, if I did 3 questions in 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, I have 5 minutes on these questions because these questions were 2 minutes. So if you did 3 questions in 30 seconds, 10, 10, 10, 10, there are questions like that. You can just, oh, this is easy. All it's asking me is to measure from here to here. Okay. DI, dim, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go from center, not center, from the edge. So tab to go, cycle through my selection, edge of this to edge of that. And that's 1'8". Okay, answer is 1'8". And it'll have hashtag, slash, or feet, dash, hashtag, inches. Just type it the way it has. If there's a dash and then there's a space after, do that. Do exactly how it wants. And that's the review. Huh?